How are we doing, people? I hope you're well. I hope you've enjoyed your day, and I hope that didn't ruin it too much. What a wake-up call, guys. What a wake-up call. If that doesn't prove that we need to spend some money in January, I don't know what will. Listen, it wasn't absolutely shocking, but it was in parts of the game, and I thought that there was players out there tonight that could probably look at themselves and say, yeah, I weren't very good. I don't think there's many players that can hold their hands up and be honest about the fact that they didn't have a very good game, and I don't think we could look at many performances out there to be proud of tonight. What I will say is that I believe PSV probably wanted it a lot more than Arsenal, and I think it showed in the performance. I really do. I think PSV knew that if they wanted any chance of trying to win this group, that nothing but 3 points really was acceptable for them, and I think that showed. Wow. I mean, there was some of that football that looked like we were getting absolutely battered. I'm not going to lie. If it weren't for defending at times in terms of our high line, I think it could have been 5 or 6. We seemed to get it right with a couple of the offsides that were offside, to be fair. But as soon as I saw the team lineup, I was a little bit surprised and thought we might be all right tonight. But boy, was I wrong. We looked jaded. We looked tired. We couldn't get on the ball. There was a lot of the football that we might have had, but no real creative chances. And I didn't really see that anything was going to come from that game after minute 1 to minute 93. And I thought when I looked at the scoreline, I could see why we'd lost. I'm not losing my head, but I am concerned. And some of the concerns I've had throughout the season are now starting to show. Let's not lose our heads too much. 8 games out of 9 in October, and it is starting to show. We've got 14, 15 players. 3 or 4 of those are injured at the moment. And we really are down to the bare bones when it comes to our bench, aren't we? When I look at the bench that we put out again today, albeit very strong in a couple of positions, we've got kids on there as well. This is a massive call out to the board, to the Cronkies, and to the management team now. Go and sign some players that are reported in January, because if we do not, I really do feel that this team, as great it is just going to be so jaded towards the end of it, and we are going to drop points and start losing football games. I do believe personally that this game tonight could just be a one-off, and hopefully we get business back to normal against Nottingham Forest, Chelsea and Wolves, and we're not looking back at these games thinking, wow, we haven't played well since Liverpool. Because let's be honest, it's probably true. We haven't played well since Liverpool. We weren't great against Leeds. We weren't fantastic against Southampton in parts, and we certainly weren't great tonight. So that means the last game that we could sit and say, do you know what we played well against was, of course, Liverpool. I will say this, though. When I looked at that team, it didn't really bother me who was playing, because no matter how strong you go, this team only needs a couple of changes for that drop-off to go this far. And I don't want to pick out players, but I'm going to have to tonight. I don't think it's their fault. I just think they're not good enough. And of course, I'm talking about Eddie Nketiah and Sambi Lukonga. Let's talk about the goals first of all, and we'll come back to the performances after that. But I want to mention those 2 players in particular. I thought the first goal, Rob Holding's got to do better for me. He gets spun by De Jong, who come on, and let's be honest, cause a lot of problems in the box. He then creates the first goal. Sambi Lukonga completely switches off, loses his runner, and the guy's got a free shot at goal, gives the keeper no chance. We're already lucky that it ain't 3 or 4. The offsides were offside. I've already mentioned that. And I thought Xavi Simons and Cody Gakpo were causing massive problems to our defence. The good thing about it is defensively we were actually okay in terms of a high line, and we were able to keep that line and allow them to be caught offside. So some would say that's a great bit of play. Others would say it's a bit dangerous and we don't really want to be giving them 3 goals that luckily have all been called offside. But we go 1-0 down through a mistake from Holding, who gets spun, and a switch off from Lukonga. And the corner, Ramsdale and Tierney, I don't know what's happening there. Don't know why Tierney's marking De Jong. It's a bit strange for me. But yeah, his hands are over him, but he's already jumped. So he's just literally using Tierney to jump up. I wouldn't say that's a foul, but I would ask the question, why the hell is Kieran Tierney marking him? You know, he's not exactly matched, in my opinion, when you've got Saliba and Gabriel and Holding and players like that on that are much taller and have stature. Not saying Kieran Tierney's lightweight by any means. He's actually a strong boy, but I wouldn't be putting him matched up against their strongest and tallest centre forward. And Ramsdale, wow, if you're going to come out like that and be as rash as that, you need to get it right, my friend, and you got it horribly wrong tonight. And I'm a big fan of Aaron Ramsdale. Only a couple of weeks ago I was singing his praises, but my God, what was he doing there? That was poor. He's come out, Tried to punch it, completely missed it, and it's 2-0. And De Jong was probably their man of the match. He came on and caused all sorts of problems, and Arsenal couldn't handle him. But the performance, if I'm honest with you, tonight was really poor. Really, really poor. Sambi Lukonga, what does he offer? I'm struggling, if I'm honest with you. I think he's a number 8, trying to play at a number 6. I don't believe he's got it right at all tonight again. And to be fair to Mikel Arteta, it was ruthless, but he brought him off because he knew he had to bring him off. It was poor, mate. It was really poor. And I like him on the football. Off the ball, I just don't see that he's ready. And he's been quite vocal, hasn't he, Sambi Lukonga? He's been quite vocal at coming out and saying, I should believe I should be on this team. I believe I should be playing for Arsenal in the first team. Well, not performances like that. You won't get anywhere near the first team with performances like that. He looked off of it. There were even times today we was giving the ball away. What I like about Lukonga is he always tries to look at the pass forward. He always tries to look at how he can create something moving forward. But his defensive game is so poor and so off that it just doesn't matter for me now. I just don't think this guy is good enough. I'm sorry. I really don't. Let's take a look at what you're saying about Lukonga because I think this is a really, really good comment from Aaron White. Aaron, big up yourself, man. Hope you're well. Says Lukonga, I'm not seeing this new Yaya Toure figure that company said. I think it's a great point, and I know you've put a laughing emoji there, but I'm serious about this. I don't understand what company is seeing. Maybe that's why he's managing Burnley and not Belgium. But my God, there's no comparison to Yaya Toure for me whatsoever. And Thierry Henry come out, didn't he, and said that when he was coaching at Belgium, he believed this guy to be the next best thing. I just do not see it. I really do not see it, man. It's not been good. It's not been good for him. And there's rumours that he might go out on loan if we get a replacement in. Junior Maker says, I think Arteta has had enough of him now. In my opinion, he won't be here come February. Sleeping Dragon says, Dan, keeping it real as an Arsenal fan. Respect, 100%. Respect to you, my guy. Much appreciate you as a Liverpool fan coming and listening to my stuff. Lukonga has no qualities that stand out. Mr. Kumar, I completely agree with you, man. I'm not so sure that I see a amount of qualities that some of them do. Maybe that's a little bit harsh, but I do believe with Ashish that now we should see response from the boys against Forest. The problem we have is there's a lot of players that played. A lot of players that played, that started, that came on. He made the whole 5 subs. He brought pretty much all of our first team players on. So we had to utilise everybody today and we still couldn't do anything. When we went free at the back, I thought Mikel Arteta made a mistake there. We looked extremely vulnerable. And to be fair to him, he realised that and he put it back right. And we had our back 4 that have been pretty much playing at the back 4 for most of the season. But it's worrying, isn't it? Because there's all those players coming on. We had players that I thought were good enough to beat PSV, and we didn't really touch the sides with them, if I'm honest. I mean, they put the ball in our net 5 times. 3 of them were ruled out for offside. 2 of them stood. And I have to say they got the better of us tonight. There's not much more for me to say. But I have got to agree with my mum here. I've got to bring up this player next. Eddie Nketiah. He's too poor. I've never changed my view on that. And he's proven me right game after game. I totally agree. I said we shouldn't be signing this guy up. I said 100K is a lot of money, but everybody said be quiet. He scored 4 goals in the last 5 games of the season. He's going to be the next best thing. And I never thought it. So I was quiet because a lot of people say that you're negative when you start going on about the same thing. But I've never quite rated this guy. I actually really like Eddie as a lad. I really want him to be good. I like the fact he's come from the youth system. I like the fact that he's been given faith. And I like the fact that he shows and tries and his energy and intensity is there to see. But he ain't good enough, man. He is not good enough. I do not understand where he gets this trust from Arteta. He must be absolutely killing it in training because at the moment, for me, it just does not look like he's going to make it in an Arsenal shirt. And at 23 going on 24, I do feel personally like his time might be up at the Arsenal if he believes that he can have a chance of first team football. I think he may be mistaken. Jesus come on, there's different energy straight away. There's different drive, there's ability on the ball, and there's glimpses of quality. And that was only in the last few minutes of the game that we actually saw that. With Eddie, it just isn't good enough, man. I think he's good at press, intensity, energy, drive, but when the ball is at his feet, I just have no confidence. And if you want to sum Eddie's performance up, just look at that shot towards the end of the game. Anywhere, put it anywhere, and he just taps it at the keeper. It's poor. It's really poor. And unfortunately for Eddie, I think it may be that he's just never going to be that striker that everybody wants him to be. I believe we're looking at a different profiled striker in January have to come in. now. I can't be dealing with Eddie Nketiah as our backup striker. A lot of rumours, and we'll come on to that towards the end of the show, about who we're going to be going for and how we're going to spend money and etc. So start putting in the chat who you'd like to see Arsenal bring in January, and we'll go through that towards the end of the show. Today's performances for me, Granit Xhaka was probably again one of the better players. Other than that, I saw glimpses from players, but nothing special. Martinelli and Tierney were a little bit disappointing for me down that left-hand side and couldn't really get the hang of the grips of the game. And I thought that although Tierney at times was always quite relied upon, I don't think he or Martinelli played too well together. On the right-hand side, I'm really sorry to Fabio Vieira, but you are not a winger. You're very nice on the ball. You've got a good pass on you, and you've definitely got some vision, but you're not a right winger. And I understand that Marquinhos is now out injured, and I don't know how, but he is. Fabio Vieira, for me, has to be put in a position on the pitch where I believe he's more comfortable. And I don't see him as a Saka or Martinelli. I see him as more of a Martin Odegaard. I think he's got some vision. I think he's got a good left foot. But at the moment, I need to see more than that from Fabio Vieira. Odegaard, again, like some nice passes going forward. But were we real about his performance again? Like, he got subbed again, man. It's just, I don't like to start slating players, but I've been so disappointed with him the last few games. I really have. And I know people say that he puts nice balls through, but it's just his over-round game. You know, he had another shot that hit the keeper in the first half before the whistle went. I'm just a little bit deflated about his performance. You know, Knuckles is agreeing with me. Was Erdegaard playing tonight? Well, he wouldn't have known it. He got subbed in the end. And to be fair to Arteta, I think he was ruthless with his substitutions and realised that he couldn't be hanging about because he really wanted to win that game. He's made it clear in his press conferences, Mikel Arteta, that he really does want to win this group. And we're going to have to beat Zurich now. We have to beat them, you know, and I think we will, don't get me wrong. But they won tonight, I believe, against Bodo Glimt. So they've now got a little bit of confidence going into that game. I just get a bit frustrated when I see some of the performances like that are lackluster. But listen, I'm a big fan of a lot of what this team have done. I feel that we can't lose our heads, but maybe we've got to the end of October, tried to play these 9 games, and it's knackered us. And if that's not a big sign that we need players, then I don't know what is. I was saying this on a couple of shows over the last few days, and I'll say it again. Arsenal have found themselves this season in a chance to be top of the Europa League, favourites to win the competition, and in their title challenge. If we don't go and spend in January and accept that, you know what, we're okay with this team, it ain't going to win a title, we'll be happy just coming fourth again. I'll be very disappointed with that attitude and lack of ambition by the Cronkies and by this regime. I think what we need to do now is go and get those 2 or 3 players. And I'm meaning 2 or 3, not just get that one in. I'm really serious when I say that now. And for me, it has to be done. Let's come to that to end. Europa League, it's not the end of the world. Tonight, it's not the end of the world. What matters is the future and the near future at that. We've got 3 games now, plus Brighton and Zurich, right? The 3 games of Forest, Chelsea and Wolves, Zurich in the Europa League and Brighton in the League Cup. Those 5 games now before the World Cup are massive. 1, because we need to win our group in the Europa League. 2, because I'd like us to get through to the next stage of the League Cup against the Brighton side that now don't have Graham Potter, but will be putting in a strong side, and the fact that it's at home. And I'd like to think the Emirates is becoming a bit of a fortress. And then we've got these 3 games. 2 of them are away, 1 of them at Forest. That Forest game is vital for me. Chelsea, nothing but a win or a draw for me. And then 3 points against Wolves away. Very tough. We understand this. But we need at least 7 points if we're serious about challenging. And then we go into that World Cup, top of that league, at least. Maybe even, you know, it could be joint second or whatever it be. But we'd be in and around Manchester City. That's when we need to go into it. That's when we need to go into it and go, do you know what? Yep, let them go World Cup. We need a wide forward. We need a centre forward. We need a centre midfielder. We need a defensive midfielder. We need to be serious about this. Not just let's go and get somebody in the middle to help out Party. Let's go and do 2 or 3 bits of business. I understand it's hard. It might even be impossible, some might say. But if you've got the money there, go and spend it. Go and utilise it. Let's talk about some of the players that people are talking about. Milinkovic-Savic is a player that everybody is talking about from the summer and again today. Scored again tonight for Lazio, a midfielder that can do everything. Great presence, great stature, unbelievable attributes on the ball. Can play more box-to-box in a Granit Xhaka role, but can be relied upon defensively from what I hear. And he, for me, would be a fantastic signing. I don't see this one happening because I believe it will be a summer move, but this would be a good signing and a great name to be linked with. When I look at Danilo in the middle over at Brazil, I think that one is more likely. Brazil will be finishing their league soon. Danilo, I believe, is the only Brazilian player that Brazil even consider selecting for their squad that plays in the Brazilian league. Everybody else comes from a European club. That tells me all I need to know. They've got great players in the middle there, haven't they? We've already seen it. But for me, when you look at it, the Casemiros, the Fabinhos, if Danilo's getting into the names of those and being in the mix of a Brazilian national squad, I'd like to see him. 21 years old, a Thomas Partey type, somebody that would definitely be an upgrade on El Neni and Lokonga. And for me, would be a good signing. I'm hearing between 20 to 25 million, maybe just over, plus some add-ons, would probably be enough. And I expect that signing to be one of the favourites for us to come to Arsenal. I could see that one probably being the more favourable move, if I'm honest with you. So that one would be something that I would look at. Yuri Tielemans was mentioned yesterday. I think Leicester will keep hold of him and Maddison now until the summer. I don't think anybody will look at that as a potential January move now, and I don't think Leicester will accept that now. And then I need to look at this Sangare tonight. I like Sangare. I liked him a lot, and I've mentioned him on here many weeks ago. Then we got PSV, and I told everybody, just watch him, just see what you think. I think he's a great player. I like him. Defensively, very good. Has stature, has presence, can pass a football, can see an eye for a pass, got some good vision as well. And I think would be a very good signing. But again, is that someone that Mikel Arteta would like? I'm not so sure. I think we're probably linked more heavily with Danilo. And then we look forward. Wilfried Zaha is being mentioned by a few players and a few clubs. I think the players are interested in him because of his contract being out. I'd love Wilfried Zaha. I would. I know a lot of people say he's done now and that train's gone already. But for me, Zaha at the age of 28, 29 is ready now. And it's not one that we look at like the Sakas and Martinellis that are going to be here for another 5-10 years. This guy's got 3 years left of football and he's Premier League proven. He's scoring goals, he's creating goals, gets so many fouls. For me, he's driving at defences. And so what if he comes in and displaces Martinelli for a couple of games? It ain't going to be forever. You know, we've seen enough players get displaced at this club. Everyone seems happy for Tomiyasu to get displaced and Tierney to get displaced. And, you know, the likes of Ben White to get displaced. Why can't we do it with the forward areas? You know, if Saka and Martinelli are playing every game and looking jaded, a Zaha performance for me would be a great one. He's better than Vieira in that position for me. And at the moment, that's our backup. We've got no Smith Rowe available until after the World Cup. For me, that would be a great signing. It really would. And I'd love to see some rumours come around that we're linked with Zaha because I think it'd be a great signing. And then we come to the forward line. I just don't see us getting a forward. I know people are talking about Locatelli and Vlahovic coming in from Juventus as a pair. I don't see that happening. I think that's kind of ship has sailed, if I'm honest with you. Maybe Vlahovic will look at that move and think now maybe it wasn't so wise. But I don't see that one happening. The players that I would like us to be linked with are all going to be unrealistic, and I don't believe the players would sell them. Mitrovic, Tony, Abraham, it's all going to either be too expensive or the players just aren't going to be allowed to leave their clubs, particularly when they're under contract. So for me, I don't think a forward is going to happen. I think a wide forward might happen and a midfielder might happen, but I think that's probably going to be it. If I was to take a punt now, I'd say we're probably going to get 2 players in January. I don't know who they're going to be, but I do believe that we're looking at those positions. I really do. A wide forward and a centre mid. So watch this space, people. What does that mean for other players? I don't think it means anything. I don't think we can afford to ship players out. I don't think we've got enough strength in depth to do that. I really don't. I think when you look at what's happening in midfield at the moment, if we bring in somebody, I don't think Lokonga should be sold out, put on loan, because we ain't got enough players. We're just down to the same bare bones again. So Lokonga needs to come in and fight for his place alongside somebody else. Likewise, if Marquinhos was to go on loan because we brought in a wide forward, I don't think that'd be wise because we still need him. We still need Smith Rowe. We still need Eddie. I know it's mad. I don't rate him, but we still need him. We can't just get rid of him because then we ain't got anybody to cover for Jesus. So you need an alternative. You need cover. That alternative and cover needs to turn into quality cover. That's what we need. That's where we're at right now. We've got our first 11. We've got 14, 15 players. We now need to start to look at how we can get over 20 to 22 players, at least one in each position, which would, of course, be 22 players. That's what we need right now, man. That is what we need. Let's take a couple of your comments to finish up. We should get Diaby. Looks like he's on his way to Newcastle, if you believe rumours. Newcastle have been interested in this guy for a while now. And it looks to me as if he could be on his way there. Good player, but he's going to cost a hell of a lot of money, which Newcastle have. And I don't think Arsenal do. Not that much anyway. Guendouzi playing well for Marseille. Yeah, listen, the Guendouzi stuff, I don't want to go over that again. Big fan of him as a player. Scored again last night. Better than Sambi Lokonga, that's for sure. But of course, his attitude wasn't liked at the club. We've got one here from Martin AFC 81 who says, Dan, would you take Kai Havertz? No, I wouldn't take him at all. I think he's been nothing but a flop at Chelsea, if I'm honest with you. People call Pepe and Sancho a flop. This guy's got to be up there as well for me. Some terrible news in tonight, and I believe these rumours to be true. Pablo Mari has apparently had a serious incident at a shopping mall over in where he is in Italy, and he is one of 5 men to be stabbed. We wish him all the best. Apparently 3 of them are in serious condition. So I hope that everybody involved is okay. And of course, including Pablo Mari. Very, very sad news there. Aaron is saying that Zaha is a decent shout. John is saying weeks ago we knew that this team would burn out and now it's happening. Plus, Arteta has no plan B and no backup. Well, listen, I don't think he's got any backup or plan B because there's nothing on the bench. We're so short. It really is crazy. Jay Diamond says, I'd be going for Ruben Neves and Tony. I'd take both of them tomorrow. I would take both of them tomorrow. Sangare mentioned again by Mohit Kumar. And we have here, the signs were there since last 5 games. Our goals have dried up, and it reminds me of the horror phase when Aubameyang and Lacazette were here. The days of last season, this team lacks depth, and we need to strengthen in January. Listen, guys, that is exactly what we need to do. And I have faith that we will. 2 players that we've been linked with over the last couple of days have just been mentioned in the chat, Mudryk and Milinkovic-Savic. Now, Savic I've touched on, and I think would be a great signing, but I see that more of a summer move. Mudryk I really like. I really like him. I've mentioned Zaha. I really like Mudryk. I think he's going to be a very, very, very talented boy over at Shakhtar Donetsk. Ukraine, so he's got the link with Zinchenko. I think he'd be happy to come, but let's see what happens in January. There's rumours that Kroenke's going to give Arteta 50 million plus. I think we need that at least if we want to be serious about a title challenge this season and silverware. We need to be playing Champions League football at the bare minimum for next season, guys, and we need silverware, and that needs to be in the way of a domestic cup or, of course, the Europa League. And the only way I believe we've got a chance of doing that is in January. And, you know, Lee Judges said it on Lee Judges' TV with me the other night. If we don't sign anybody in January, he doesn't expect to get top 4, and he doesn't expect to win the Europa League or a cup. And to be fair, I don't think he's being harsh there. I really aren't. I really do think it could be bad news for Arsenal. But I have faith in Edu and Arteta to do something in January. They didn't do anything last January. They had a summer which I thought was okay, not amazing. Jesus and Zinchenko aside, it was a pretty average summer, to be fair. Marquinhos and Vieira have not done enough for me to be excited, but obviously Jesus has. When I look at what we need right now, I think it's clear and obvious that we are short in the forward positions and also in centre midfield. But what does Mikel Arteta and Edu think? We shall find out very, very soon. We're going to leave it there, guys. Tonight, PSV 2, Arsenal 0. Very disappointing, but we do have a game to play against Zurich. And let's hope that we go through, win that game, win our group, and then we can go into the next stages, avoiding some of the teams, let's be honest, that some people are scared of coming down. Barcelona, Juventus, Ajax, Atletico Madrid. Very, very difficult Europa League season yet again. It is going to be. As far as Arsenal are concerned, I still don't think we have to worry about those teams. If we're on our best, I don't think Juventus, Barca or Atletico Madrid, the way they're playing, we should be too fearful of. We should be fearful of the name because of the name of the size of the club, but the way they're playing, I'm not looking at that going, oh dear, we've got no chance of beating them. So let's see what happens. This is going to be an interesting one. Going to leave it there, guys. As always, up the Arsenal. Smash a like on your way out. I'm so close to 6K. I'm literally a couple of hundred away. Please do me a favor. Smash a like. I've got to get to 6K, man. It's my next target. So please help me do that. It's absolutely free. All you need to do is hit subscribe and it's done. Smash a like. Smash a subscribe. We'll see you next time. And as always, up the Arsenal. Take care, guys.